The San Jacinto Mountains in Riverside County constitute an outlying and isolated southern representation of conditions characteristic of the Sierras. Here are more than 50 square miles of beautiful wilderness, virgin timber and rugged mountains, one towering peak that rises well over 2 miles. The summit of the range affords an impressive view of the surrounding country for hundreds of miles around, and from Hidden Lake, one can see the desert so weirdly and mysteriously barren on the very edge of this amazingly fertile California. In recent years, the world over, there seems to have been an awakening to the joys of a more rugged life outdoors. Thousands of men, women, and children are tramping the countryside, not merely riding through it in comfortable conveyances. Pack train trips in our larger national parks are more popular than ever before. San Jacinto is one area where the beauties of nature will never unfold themselves completely to those who think of scenic sightseeing as a job for automobiles. Here there must always be miles of foot trails at the ends of motor roads. One Conservation Corps camp was established away up in the clouds. Lumber had to be carried up on the backs of horses and burros. From the winding trail, the traveler is able to enjoy a constantly changing panorama of natural beauty spots, fern-covered ledges, waterfalls, unusual rock formations, and the countless other wonders which nature alone can create. There's a lot of work to establishing the kind of camp in which more than 200 people can live for an indefinite period, winter and summer, in comfort and with safety to their health. In this mountain country, the same rocks that make grading difficult have their virtue in providing splendid material for foundations, wherever building strength is essential. Building additional trails is a part of the enrollees' work at San Jacinto. Some of these trails look like little shelves in the solid rock walls of awe-inspiring chasms. Culverts and supports are made from granite blocks quarried right on the job. The first chow call of the day in most Conservation Corps camps is at the early hour of 6 in the morning, but no one is ever late for breakfast. His appetite won't let him. Looks like ham and eggs. Luncheon is sometimes served in the field, for the boys frequently work many miles from camp, and the camp administrators insist that the workers have hot food 3 times a day. Dinner, or supper if you prefer the term, is served about 4:30 in the afternoon. Every man his own dishwasher. Rubicon Point is a scenic area on the shores of Lake Tahoe, one of the highest and the largest of the Sierra Lakes. The lake itself, because bodies of water this size are rarely found at such high altitudes, is an outstanding attraction in the Pacific Coast section. Here's an expanse of 193 square miles of cold, crystal clear water, perched almost 1.25 miles high in the mountains. Many of the motion picture celebrities from Southern California have cottages along its shores. Within easy motoring distance of Sacramento, Oakland, and San Francisco, the Rubicon Point Park development attracts many visitors. Campsites, particularly around Rubicon Point proper, with its sandy beach, are popular. The Conservation Corps boys are doing much of their work in the forests, cutting new trails and establishing additional campsites. Sometimes they find it necessary a period of usefulness and are interfering with the development of the park as a whole. One of those not infrequent examples of eroded rock is a point of interest. It is called the balanced rock. Not enough is known of the civilian conservation or conservation of civilians part of this unique nationwide recovery plan. More than 1 million young men and war veterans have been participants. Few of them have failed to absorb benefits of even greater value to them than the mere employment and money they have been given. These boys here are being taught many things about tree and plant life, insect pest control, and so on, which they can apply in later life. Prairie Creek in Humboldt County is a magnificent redwood park. Rocky ocean shores with here and there stretches of sandy beach add materially to the charm of the region. Think of the peace of a camp like this, where trees lift themselves 300 feet from the springy turf, redolent with the incense of redwood, pine, and fir. At Patrick's Point, forests give way to meadows, and meadows in turn to the sea. One stretch of beach is being cleaned of debris to provide fine ocean bathing. Undergrowth is luxuriantly deep, and the trail building is being carefully done to preserve it. One of the interesting activities of the boys here is the making of redwood signs to mark trails and places of interest. Unusual talents along widely varied lines have been uncovered among the enrollees. From roads along the tumultuous Big Sur River, there are vistas of churning rapids, lively waterfalls, stately forests, wood-fringed meadows, and lofty mountain peaks. Just before it plunges into the Pacific, the Big Sur traverses a beautiful valley about 250 feet above sea level. 600 acres, including this valley, are comprised in this outstanding state park area, variously named from the Big Sur River, Pfeiffer's Woods, and Pfeiffer's Point, which are in the same vicinity. Mountain streams in the California region are unusually swift and powerful. When they start for their ocean destination from elevations much greater than those which are common along the Atlantic seaboard, they move with speed and determination. The distances they traverse are relatively short. Their drop is much more precipitate. They're really a part of one great waterfall, from the peaks of the Sierras to the expansive and powerful Pacific. The park is in Monterey County, about 30 miles south of Carmel, with its western boundary about 6 miles from the junction of the Big Sur and the Pacific Ocean. It is on a fine state highway and easily accessible to travelers en route between Los Angeles and San Francisco, the two largest cities in the state. Its scenic features are unusually diversified. Manuel Peak and Post Summit are each about 3,500 feet high. Sycamore and Big Sur are mountain canyons well worthy of the name. The Juan Higuera Creek Falls are of exceptional beauty, and there are inspiring groves of redwoods. Generally speaking, building construction work done by the Conservation Corps enrollees is confined to structures incident to the program being carried out. Barracks and administration buildings are usually built for them before they arrive in camp. This garage for their tractors, trucks, and so on is, however, of Conservation Corps construction. Much of the trail and road work being done requires nothing more than the good old pick and shovel, but in some instances the most modern of motorized equipment is being used. There are seasons of the year when the Big Sur becomes quite unruly, and an important part of the work is on the riverbed, easing the flow of water at flood tide. With 200 active young Americans on hand, good baseball is an almost inevitable result.